Hello, everybody. I tend to do things like that. Well, I'm excited to be here today, and maybe a 2-year delay here, but finally happy to be presenting the State of the City address. I know many of my colleagues across the state are also giving it today from what I've heard, and happy to be joining them, and happy to be in person. I think this is the first event, true in-person event we've had in, well, a year. So, so I'm happy for that, and excited about what is happening in this community. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. By the way, roughly 30 minutes, so go ahead and just hunker down. We're ready to go here. I have 3 years to cover. I got 2 years and this year to cover, okay? Just giving you a forewarning. I have tried to make it a little more entertaining with some pictures and stuff, so we're excited about what's happening. So, council members, residents, business representatives, and friends, I want to begin by thanking the Whitley County Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center and the Center for Whitley County Youth for hosting today's event, as well as our high school radio station, who I believe is going to be broadcasting at a later date this speech, and so I'm appreciative of that. I have to admit that getting this speech down to a manageable time frame has been challenging, with last year's State of the City address getting canceled due to the onslaught of the pandemic. I've had to pare back how much of the past 2 years' events I can cover. And there has certainly been a lot of progress and growth that has happened over the past 2 years. Now, however, I first want to take a moment to remember the 37 residents of Whitley County and over 12,000 Hoosiers who have been lost to the COVID-19 pandemic. Those individuals all had a unique role within their family and friend groups and community. And we honor them today and pray peace and comfort for all who need them. Thank you. Now, let's go back, way back to a time without masks and social distancing and greatly reduced hand washing. The year was 2019, and many projects and programs were taking off. Planning was taking place for the new park at the former CCHS property. Community input was sought from all age ranges, with multiple public planning sessions that culminated in the master plan. Third graders created playground ideas, and youth council members pointed out ways to best utilize the space, and residents of the community got creative on what features were vital to the future of recreation in Columbia City. The finalized plan is available on the city's website at columbiacity.net. Now, the Parks Department also built the new outdoor synthetic Eagles ice skating rink at the Russell and Evelyn Fall Aquatic Center, installed new bathroom facilities at DeVol Field, and constructed the pickleball and basketball courts at the Aquatic Center. A series of short introduction videos were produced for the city's webpage as a way to welcome newcomers and give them a glimpse into life within our city. Now, if you haven't seen them, here's a taste, and be prepared for a little bit of Mark Green.
Columbia City offers a wide array of recreational opportunities for all ages.
At 117 acres, Marcia's Park is the city's largest park and site of many baseball and softball games. The city's trails offer the perfect opportunity to explore the area, from the Blue River Trail to the mountain bike trails. DeVol Field features a baseball field, 6 tennis courts, and 2 sand volleyball courts. Right across the street is every kid's dreamland, a beautiful playground designed to be accessible for children with disabilities. For those looking to make a splash, the Russell and Evelyn Fall Aquatic Center has it all. Water slides, a vortex pool, a water playground, and much more. The community comes together at a number of city events, including the Old Settlers Festival, with plenty of food, fun, and the largest parade of the year. There's something for everyone in Columbia City.
So again, that was just a taste of one of the multiple videos that we now have on our website as a way to kind of introduce us to people who don't know much about Columbia City. The street department secured a large community crossings grant to provide over $1 million in street paving throughout the city. We opened the new dispatch center with state-of-the-art functionality and high-tech communication technology. After 30 years of the previous space, you can see, by the way, how small we went to how large we have now. This upgrade provides more effective and efficient dispatching of our police officers and firefighters and utility workers for quick response times. We also had to adjust water rates to address increasing maintenance and equipment costs. However, I'm proud to say that our water rates remain in the lower third of all public water utilities. We also installed the county's first safe haven baby box in the Columbia City Fire Station to, of course, assist mothers and babies in their times of greatest crisis. Now, some other miscellaneous accomplishments, as you can see, in 2019 include the Holiday Inn Express opening, the refinancing of city bonds, which saved over $350,000 over the life of the bond, celebrated 25 years as a Tree City USA, made improvements to the sewer lines in the TIF district on the county's east side, improved multiple ordinances, and saw the City Redevelopment Commission demolish an old dilapidated industrial factory at the end of Chauncey Street, right down there, in preparation for brownfield site cleanup. Now, remediation on this site of both water and soil started earlier this year and will continue into the future. So overall, 2019 was an impactful year with many accomplishments. Now, as we prepared for 2020, no one, of course, knew the impending changes that would occur. The economic impact was sudden and harsh for many. From the changes in school protocols to the closure of many businesses and restaurants and shops, our lives were all dramatically changed in March of 2020, just 1 year ago. Yet, I was encouraged to see the resiliency and dedication shown by so many Columbia City and Whitley County residents and businesses who, frankly, just don't quit that easily. We saw neighbors being creative on how they interact, support for local restaurants providing carry-out, GoFundMe movements to support local businesses, lots of drive-by events, and of course, who could forget those special wave o'clock moments every night when people met in their neighborhoods to safely socialize, even if for a few minutes. Now, on a personal note, I found myself interacting and conversing much more with my neighbors because of the pandemic. Learning their names and their occupations, what struggles they're going through, and how we can band together to help one another. The key word within community is unity. And if nothing else, COVID-19 taught us how much we need each other outside of the fake realm of social media. Now, I want to encourage you, as life gets back to some semblance of normal, as I mentioned, this is our first in-person event, to not let that fade. It's so easy to pull into the garage, shut the door behind you, and block out the neighborhood. I know I'm very guilty of that. Yet, we find out more about ourselves and our community and our world by physically and verbally and emotionally interacting with the people around us. It's so quick and easy to post our thoughts and opinions on social media, yet I would encourage you to take the time to learn about the people around us. You know, we create the unity within community, and we can't let those efforts and interactions go to waste. So while 2020 was a setback in many ways, for many people, much good did actually come of it. The city continued to provide our normal public services in different ways to protect citizens and employees. Now, we completed numerous projects, including a state-mandated phosphorus removal process at the Water Pollution Control Facility. This process will help decrease the frequency of algae blooms throughout the state's waterways. We also installed new anti-icing sidewalks in front of City Hall. And the project, of course, was critical due to both the many tripping hazards throughout the sidewalk area and the slippery areas during ice and snow events. We plan to install more of these sidewalks on the perimeter of City Hall in 2022. The street department also received another almost $800,000 community crossings grant to complete another $1 million in street paving throughout the city. We also partnered with Whitley County Consolidated Schools to introduce a new therapy dog, Jack. I had to put that picture of Thor and Jack in the picture in there just because it's so stinking cute. Obviously, Thor and Jack are working with school, are working as an alternative method to help WCCS students. We replaced the playground equipment at Patriotic Park and modified our Independence Day celebration, hosting the first and hopefully only drive-in fireworks celebration in late September. The Van Buren Flats, Moo Over, Pickles Cafe, Penguin Point, and others opened their doors. This is a testament to their courage and commitment to our community, opening up during a global pandemic when unemployment rates were hitting 17+%. We had a major windstorm that took multiple weeks to clean up. I'm sure you all remember it. But I'm proud of the efforts of all of our departments to ensure streets were open, electricity was on, and residents could recover quickly. Between our departments doing major limb and brush removal and our residents helping each other cut up fallen trees, Columbia City once again showed its resiliency. AMI meters were installed for all Columbia City Municipal Electric Utility customers to provide accurate and up-to-date information, as well as reduce outage times and increase employee efficiency. Okie Alley was constructed and participated in the Mural Fest project from the Northeast Indiana Regional Partnership. The alleyway will be formally opened with a ribbon cutting this spring, but I am truly in awe of the transformation that occurred thanks to the generous donation of so many residents and businesses, along with the help of Patronicity and the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority. The Columbia City Housing Authority bought and renovated a dilapidated house on East Van Buren Street. This was the first project of its type undertaken by the Housing Authority, and the transformation of this property has been, well, quite amazing. We anticipate that that house will be on the market within the next month. Now, I'm proud of their focus on improving the housing stock in Columbia City, especially for low and moderate income households. In 2020, we saw a significant challenge in the financing of our junk pickup days. The Trash Committee considered multiple options to drive down our cost for this service, but in the end, the decision was made to downsize junk pickup days from one in the spring and one in the fall to just one pickup per year. We also worked on our city ordinances to ensure that the service was being provided only to city residents and ensure that junk pickup day wasn't just an opportunity for non-residents to come dump their junk in the city, receiving a service that they really weren't paying for. Now, ultimately, we ended up cutting the cost of the service in half, providing a sustainable program into the future. Now, all of this is well and good in 2020, but the highlight of our community was, of course, the grand opening of the new Columbia City High School. While I know many residents have still not been allowed to have a tour due to the pandemic, I speak from experience when I say it is breathtaking. As a graduate of the old CCHS, I can say that now, the old CCHS, I'm jealous of the students who get to call this new facility their home and their school. A quick story. When touring the facility with former Superintendent Dr. O'Connor, we stepped into the auditorium and I got to tell you, I was taken aback. As a former drama and show choir kid, I was in awe of the performance space that current and future generations will be able to utilize for musicals and plays and other kinds of events, even community events. So I turned to Dr. O'Connor in that moment and lamented what a shame it was that the community, who really so wholeheartedly supported this new learning center, wasn't able to tour it. And she quickly added the word yet. They aren't able to tour it yet. I look forward to the true opportunity when residents of Whitley County will be able to step into that facility, and that facility is going to shape so many future generations of Eagles. And why is this school important? So some of you have heard this story before, so ignore that you have. But I want to share it because it really impacted me. And actually, both Chip and Dale were in this. Chip and Dale, Chip and Dale. Sorry. Poor Disney pun. They were both in this meeting as well. By the way, unintended pun, just for the record. So we sat down with a developer who was looking to put some kind of a development within or around Columbia City. And as we met, I asked him the question, I asked all developers and businesses wanting to locate to our community, why Columbia City? Why did you choose Columbia City? And his response was clear and concise. 3 reasons, he said: schools, schools, and schools. He went on to note that the biggest indicator of the future success of a community is its school system. And based on the continuous improvements and additions to our schools, Columbia City and Whitley County are set up for massive success into the future. And success is what we continue to strive for in our community. So we have moved into this new year, COVID-19 positivity and infection rates continue a downward trend. The vaccine continues to be given to the population, and sooner rather than later, we will resume life in a new normal. Yet, our city hasn't really missed a beat. We've been planning and building the future of our community in partnerships with so many residents and businesses and nonprofits. In a time when many cities and towns are concerned about the coming year's revenues, Columbia City is effectively doubling down on our success. We're building our future together, as the tagline goes, and I'm excited for what the future is going to bring. Now, as I mentioned earlier about the planning of the former CCHS property, we're already looking at what types of projects to do first to continue the expansion of quality of life amenities for residents and visitors. And we haven't even been given the property yet. Imagine pulling in, okay, I want you to close your eyes. Imagine this, the soothed baritone voice of your mayor. Okay, so imagine this. Pulling into the Aquatic Center parking lot, and on one side you hear the sound of kids squealing and splashing around at the Aquatic Center, while on the other side you hear music being performed by a local band. Off in the distance is the skate park where bikers and skateboarders are performing tricks and flips, while nearby residents walk among flowers and trees, stopping to observe some artistic sculptures. A little farther east, you hear the laughing of children as they run around the natural playground, rolling down hills, climbing on trees, and jumping across blocks. Now, these are a few of the features that we're starting to plan for and hope to bring to this property within the next few years. I don't know if you guys are excited about this, but I'm super pumped about what this property is going to be, and especially, obviously, Aquatic Center is right here, by the way. This is the parking lot, so we're talking about all of this space here right now. And I am super pumped about this. If you've not been by the high school, the former high school property now, you will know it's basically a little bit of concrete and mud and dirt. And it provides really a blank canvas really for this community and the future of that park space. And I'm super excited about it. Meanwhile, switching gears, a project that's almost 2 years old will soon be coming to a close. The final phase of our long-term control plan for sewer improvements will be coming to a finish in the next 2 months, hopefully, anyway. The final phase, a $10 million state-mandated combined sewer overflow mitigation project, I challenge you to say that 5 times fast, includes 3 underground storage basins, raising overflow points, increasing piping, and upgrading lift stations. Keep in mind that the overall LTCP started back in the early 2000s and has now cost the city over $40 million in improvements. Now, while frustrating, multiple administrations have secured millions in funding and state grants to cut back on the rate increases needed to fund this project. In 2019, I was proud to be joined by my 2 predecessors, former Mayor Ron Glassley and former Mayor Jim Fleck, to break ground on this final phase. And I want to publicly thank Mike Cook, wastewater superintendent, for his hard work and efforts to ensure we're not only keeping up with federal mandates, but we're also doing our part to keep our waterways clean. Now, after the success of our subdivision overhaul in Wooddale in 2018, we turned our sights to the Westgate neighborhood, one that is 4 times the size of Wooddale, but was similar in that it wasn't given the same amenities as other areas of the city in terms of infrastructure. Now, in 2019, we began meeting with residents of the Westgate neighborhood to determine the needs to be addressed in the project. From those meetings came the preliminary planning for improvements such as the widening of streets, curbing, improved drainage, new street lighting, and new sidewalks. We've applied for the first round of the Indiana Department of Transportation's Community Crossings program to begin the first phase of the Westgate overhaul in the easternmost portion of the neighborhood. We anticipate hearing from INDOT the next month, but obviously regarding the grant award, if we're awarded, construction is scheduled to begin this summer and continue through the end of the year. We will continue the engineering of subsequent phases, which are planned to be constructed over the next 2 to 4 years, depending on funding. Connectivity, in all senses of the word, is critical to meet the needs of our residents and businesses. Now, on the internet front, We hear how important reliable internet is to everyone. We've continued to follow up with many different companies, encouraging them to expand their fiber footprint within the city and provide reliable internet options to our residents. Lots of opportunities on the horizon, continue to work toward it, and understand how much of a priority that is, not only now, but into the future. While we continue to recruit these companies, we're currently working on a plan to provide free public Wi-Fi to our downtown area. We know that this is yet another incentive to drive residents and visitors to our downtown, which subsequently will help it continue to grow and thrive. Small business is the lifeblood of our economy, and the City of Columbia City wants to be a partner in helping them grow in our community. So as a part of this commitment, we'll continue to support our Main Street Association, Columbia City Connect, as they create new ways to boost tourism and shopping in the downtown core. Just recently, they were awarded a grant from the Office of Community and Rural Affairs to provide businesses with e-commerce and web presence improvements to continue their laser-focused mission. Furthering the conversation about connectivity, I was happy, very happy by the way, that the Indiana Department of Transportation has agreed to undertake a planning and environmental linkage study, or a PEL study, for US 30. Now, as you may know, the counties and cities along US 30 have been advocating now for pretty much over 6 years to upgrade this vital corridor. The first step in upgrading the highway is the planning study, and while it isn't a full environmental impact study like we were requesting, the PEL will still investigate many of the components of the EIS. Now, I've been assured by INDOT Commissioner Joe McGinnis that we will have ample opportunity to give input along the way, and you can be assured that my focus will be on the safety of our residents and the economic viability of whatever options they determine to be best. The US 30 Coalition, which we're a part of, is steadfast in believing that for these two reasons, safety and economic viability, a freeway is the best option for US 30. Switching gears, arts and culture has been a growing focal point in our community as numerous murals and gathering spaces and dramatic arts have grown in Columbia City. In 2021, besides the opening of Oakey Alley, we will be expanding the artist influence in our community by creating a Columbia City Arts Commission. Now, the Arts Commission will help grow the arts culture within our city while supporting memorable experiences that enlighten the heart and spark the mind. We also will continue working toward a downtown revitalization plan that encourages public art and beautification. Now, the growth of the city is always a balancing act. We want to grow because, as you know, communities that stagnate are communities that die. And I don't use that term lightly. Further, growth of the community helps provide greater competition, expands dining and shopping options, and provides more residents who are engaged and actively working toward the improvement of our city. Growth also has to be planned and structured so as not to overwhelm systems and infrastructure that are already in place. We also don't want to lose that small town charm that we all know and love. That is why planning is so critical to our future. So in 2021, we will be working with our friends at the county to expand our extraterritorial jurisdiction. It's also what's called the 2-mile jurisdictional boundary. Now, I want to be clear, this is not annexation. We are not annexing anyone, nor do we have any plans to annex anyone outside of the city in the near future, besides, of course, property that have requested annexation from the city. The expansion of our 2-mile jurisdictional boundary is important, however, to help plan for the future, whether that's for 2 years or 52 years. And as our city has grown, we actually have already hit the previous 2-mile jurisdictional boundary on 2 of our sides. The expansion of our planning territory merely helps us plan for the future. Now, along that same line, we haven't received the latest census numbers yet. I know there's a lot of charts up here, so I'll give you plenty of time to read through them. We do know, however, based on housing permits and apartment developments and new subdivision expansions, that our city continues to be a place where people want to be. Certainly, 2020 put a cramp into the growth, mainly due to the shutdown and the rising cost of construction materials. Yet, we saw some continuation of developments and many residents improving their own properties. It's obvious that while some portions of our local economy took a hit, and we should not take that lightly, there are still plenty of people investing in the growth of our community. We look forward to seeing how our community's growth has compared to other communities of similar size throughout the state when those census numbers are provided. A few items have already been completed for the year, for this year in the area of our utilities. After waiting for over a decade, we made an electric grid adjustment that helps provide financial stability and accounts for many of the changes in the electric grid. We're currently working with AEP, which is American Electric Power, on a 69 kV conversion project that will change the way we receive power through their lines. Now, without giving you an in-depth look of kind of how the electric grid is set up, the short story is that our power provider, Indiana Municipal Power Agency, or IMPA, effectively ships us power through AEP's transmission lines, which we then convert through our substations into power that can be distributed to the homes and businesses of our customers. So with this conversion occurring with AEP, we have to prepare our infrastructure and our electric system to handle this change in voltage. Now for customers, this will provide greater reliability in the long run. You probably can note many of the times when we've had long-term outages, it has not been because of our local system, but instead the AEP transmission lines being down. We believe that this will take care of the majority of those issues. IMPA, our power provider, has also built a new solar energy field at the end of Opportunity Drive. The solar field will have a maximum capacity of 4.3 megawatts and on a sunny day will be able to power 25% of our Columbia City Municipal Electric's energy usage. We're excited to partner with IMPA on this project that will provide renewable energy to our community's power grid and provide additional sustainability into the future. Now, in the area of stormwater, we continue to improve our stormwater management through greater attention on developments and a contractual relationship with the Whitley County Soil and Water Conservation District. With their assistance, we have improved the runoff from construction activities, continually clean storm drainage to reduce the amount of debris and dirt going into our streams and rivers, and provided multiple programs for residents to reduce the amount of stormwater headed to the water pollution control facility, like the downspout disconnection program and the rain barrel rebate program. And if you're a city resident and you've not checked these programs out, I very much encourage you to do that. Our water department will be working throughout the year to convert our water meters into the same AMI technology that our electric utility is using. This project will allow real-time readings and remove the need for a dedicated person to go drive throughout the community collecting water readings. It will also standardize the process in the utility office. Now, public safety has continued to improve for residents in both the fire and police departments. And while COVID-19 certainly has changed a lot of our processes, these departments have continued to provide a high level of public service. As you may have noticed, the faces within our police department have changed a lot. To give you a little insight into this, when I started as mayor in 2012, our least tenured police officer had almost 10 years of experience on the force. As of today, we have 17 of our 22 officers that have less than 6 years of experience. So as you can imagine, training has been the name of the game for the police department. Thanks to the CARES Act dollars in 2020, we were able to equip their vehicles with mobile command units, which basically allowed them to do just about everything they would do in an office setting in their car. We have also activated a judicial sharing module that makes it easier for our officers to share files with the court system. Our dispatchers, their responsibility continues to grow, as does our staffing. Just a few short years ago, there were multiple shifts each week that would only have one staff member manning the CAD, or computer-aided dispatch system, the 911 phone lines, and the city utility calls. We've moved to a minimum of at least 2 members per shift to ensure that residential calls are responded to in a quick and efficient manner. Further, the new dispatch center provides plenty of room for expansion and the ability to take on additional responsibilities into the future. The fire department has just recently received new air packs for all Columbia City firefighters. By the way, it is this one right here. That was a trial, right, Tom? That was a trial. These new air packs will allow our firefighters to have the latest technology when entering smoke-filled buildings in and around our city, which again, hopefully is a rare occurrence. They also plan to install a new training space that will help them train for many circumstances long into the future. Now, many other projects, of course, are being planned for the year, including a new storage facility at the Parks Department, replacing brick crosswalks in downtown that are breaking apart, putting up new banners along State Road 205, and working with multiple new businesses that plan to open up or expand here in Columbia City. So, as noted, you can tell that while the economic environment has been uneasy, we have continued to move toward the future with improvement projects across all departments and real-life impacts to our citizens and businesses. But here is the best part. All of these improvements noted today have happened with city taxes decreasing. As mentioned in past addresses, the more we grow in a balanced way, the more stable our tax rate gets. And in fact, since 2017, the city tax rate for just the city of Columbia City has gone down over 10 cents per $100 of assessed valuation. Now that's real money staying in the pockets of our residents. Properties are also worth more in Columbia City, which also helps residents, especially in the seller's market. Assessed valuation within the city limits, which is the total value of all taxable property in the city. I know I'm getting a little wonky here, so I apologize. But all the total value of taxable property in the city has grown by over $78 million since 2017. That is 31% growth in the assessed value within our city. The point I'm making is that the continual investment into our community is having a direct reflection on and driving down the city's tax rate, making Columbia City a welcoming place for new residents and businesses. Friends, the state of our city is excelling. We're not only improving, but we're excelling at building a future together. Whether businesses or residents, nonprofits or others, our city continues to excel. We're excelling at talent attraction and retention, quality of life growth, business development, and hospitality. We've not only managed to make it through COVID-19, but have improved many of our positions as a community. Now, none of this would have been possible without so many of you continuing to put your head down, running straight into the headwinds of political, social, and economic upheaval. Our collective focus on the future has provided a prime opportunity for success. And make no mistake, we will continue to grow collectively as a leader as long as we continue to do it arm in arm with each other. I am so proud of our efforts and our team and our community and our businesses and our citizenry. And I look forward to continue serving as your city's leader into the future because I truly believe that our best days remain ahead of us. So let's continue to excel in 2021. Thank you.